Hey y'all, welcome back to 9 to 5 Gamers, and today is another Top 10 Tuesday. And that means that we're going through our top 100. So if you haven't been following the series, go ahead and check out the card and go through the rest of this top 10 list. But today we are going through my 50 through 41. We're getting very close to the top 10, so continue to keep track of these videos. And in the comments section, as always, like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't liked this video, go ahead and like it real quick. And also, in the comment section, tell me what you think about these 10 games. Have you played any of them? Have you not played them? And let's talk about it in the comments section. Love to hear what you guys have to say and hear your feedback. Don't forget to check out memberships as low as $3 a month. And they give you all sorts of perks, and it's really, really cool to be a member. If you haven't become a member, do it. We already got 3 members, and we have a new member whom I want to shout out, but I'm going to have trouble saying your name, but I'm going to try it anyway, and that is Mahulena. You know who you are. Thank you for becoming a member, and without further ado, let's get into this video. First and foremost, my number 50 is a game called Raw. If you've never seen Raw, it is an older game by Reiner Knizia. It is an amazing game. It's an auctioning game, and one of the coolest mechanics is that in order to take the tiles are going to be placed out, and you're going to be collecting these tiles because having more of the tiles is going to give you more bonuses and more points. But the cool mechanic is that in order to grab the tiles, you have to bid on them, but you can start the bidding process by invoking Ra, and there's this little chunky Ra statue that you grab and you say, I invoke Ra, and then after that, the cool part is that you get advantage by doing that because now you're the last person who gets to vote. Or you can force a vote early, or if a red tile is drawn, you invoke Ra automatically, which is more likely to happen because there's so many red tiles in this game. But it's such a fun game. I honestly didn't know what to expect of it, and I got the retail version of it, and I was happy with it. This is a really, really fun game. Plays 3 to 5 players. You should really check out Raw by Reiner Knizia. It's a very awesome game. My number 49 is a game called Galaxy Trucker. This game I got for $13 at the Ding and Dent, and I was like, hey, let me try it out. People have said it's a really good game, and let me tell you something, it really is. You're building your own little spaceship, and it has like 2 phases to the game. So there's like all these tiles that are placed out, and you get to flip a tile over and add the pieces to your ship. But the way you build up your ship, you're building your ship out of junk. So it's kind of the premise of the game is that you're trying to get all this junk to another planet, but in order to transport the junk, instead of making a ship and then putting junk on the ship, you just make the ship out of junk. And so you got all this stuff that you're trying to make your ship out of, and then you're going to transport all those materials. And so the more materials you build your Galaxy truck up with, the more points you're going to get. But at the second phase of the game is the part where you actually go on your journey with it. So the first part is building the ship, which is like placing these little squares. It's almost like a polyomino placement game, little puzzle. And then after that, you drive this thing across the galaxy, getting attacked by marauders, getting hit by asteroids, and it knocks chunks of your ship off, so you're losing points. And oh man, it was actually such a blast to play, and I'm so glad I got this for 13 bucks. It's such a good game. I highly recommend picking it up. Galaxy Trucker, my number 49. And now my number 48 is a game called Splendor Duel. Oh my gosh, I can't reach it. Splendor Duel. Oh, planted. Splendor Duel. As some people may know, if you're fans of the channel, you've been here for a while, you'll know that I'm not the biggest fan of Splendor. I enjoy Marvel Splendor a little more than I enjoy regular Splendor. But regular Splendor, I just didn't like the theming of it. But Splendor Duel is the most amazing. They really made, this is to me the best Splendor experience. Who was it? Bruno Cathala and Marc Andre. And so Marc Andre and Bruno Cathala really did the Splendor, kind of like what happened with Seven Wonders Duel, made it such a fun 2-player game. To me, this is the premier Splendor experience. So if you're looking to play a game of Splendor and it's just 2 people at the house, which usually that's what I've seen a lot of. There's a lot of solo gamers, and there's a lot of people who play 2-player only because it's just them and their spouse, or kids who only one kid wants to play and stuff. But this is such a cool two-player game. Honestly, it may be one of my favorite two-player games of all time, and that is Splendor Duel. My number 47 is a game called Woodcraft by Vladimir Suchi, maker of Underwater Cities, and Ross Arnold. But Woodcraft is a really great game, man. Woodcraft is basically set in this cool little world where they have these creatures that make things out of wood, and you've got this big circle sawmill thing that turns, and you get resources from that, and you have dice. The coolest mechanic for me was that you're using dice to do certain things, but you can the dice is like wood, and you could take the wood and you can split it in half, and take like a 4 and make it 2 2s or a 1 and a 3, and also you can glue pieces of wood together. But the really cool part is just building up your little tableau thing. It's like a little map that you have, and just getting all the different perks and things. I haven't played it in a while, but it was really fun the last 3 or 4 times that I've played it. I have really enjoyed Woodcraft. It is definitely one of my favorite games. Does take a little while to play, but I really enjoyed this game. And I can't wait to play Underwater Cities, but I gotta get it off my shelf. So that is my number 47. My number 46 is a game called The Loop. Why are they always coming in upside down? There we go. The Loop, I think, is one of those games that when you look at it at first glance, you're probably going to say, it's probably not a good game. I can pass on it. I highly recommend playing this game. I think everybody needs to at least play it because it is such a fun experience, man. Basically, you're time traveling, and Dr. Foe is going through time, and you're trying to attack him, but you've got to, complete 4 missions before you can attack them. It almost kind of reminds me of Marvel United, if I think about it. So if you're like a Marvel United fan, The Loop, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Marvel United, where you're just kind of moving from era to era, tracking down Dr. Foe, and then you have to complete 4 missions before you can fight him, and then when you finally do, you can start attacking him and doing damage. And it's really cool, man, because that's the whole point of the game. Do you even attack him and do damage? I don't remember if you even attack him. I haven't played this one in a little bit too. I actually want to play it really soon, but because I got the expansion for it in the Ding and Dent section. I love Ding and Dent. Especially the best Ding and Dent, this is just a pro tip, best place things to get in the Ding and Dent section is going to be expansions. Because remember that expansions, you don't need the box, right? So if the box is destroyed, you're getting it super cheap, and then you just put the components in the main box, right? So you don't even need those boxes anymore. So, but The Loop is really fun. I think this is a very underrated game, even though I don't know where it places in the BGG Top 100, but it's definitely an underrated game in my opinion, and I think more people ought to play it. Really cool. I love The Loop. My number 45 is not in my collection, and that's only because I had called it during a time where I was getting rid of games because I just had I didn't have enough space on my shelf. Otherwise, it would have been in my collection, but that is Everdel. Everdel is just such an amazing game. It is a game where you are building out a little city of cards, and as you're building out that little city of cards, there are locations and creatures that kind of match up together, and then they work together when you have them both inside of your city, and certain locations will let you hire those workers for free and produce resources. And so you're producing resources and building a little engine to produce the different resources. The resources in this game are incredible with the resin little pieces, the little gummy they're like squishy berries, plastic. It's really, really fun. I really like Everdel, and if it wasn't for the fact that my friend has the game and a bunch of the expansions, I would have it in my collection, but he's the only person I would play it with because my wife did not enjoy the game. But I'm going to go ahead and go to my next one, which is 44, and that's 10 Penny Parks. Man, 10 Penny Parks, such a fun game. This game is great, man. Like, you're just building, it reminds me a little bit of Barren Park, so if you've ever played Barren Park, 10 Penny Parks is a lot like that, where you just have like polyomino parks, and you have like one little starting piece, but then you can buy extra plots of land, and you're placing these amusement park rides, polyomino placing them into your park, but at the same time it's like worker placement, and you have a certain amount of workers and you can do a certain amount of actions on your turn. So you do worker placement to buy the attractions. There's also a carousel in the center that spins and changes what the prices are for each of the things. So some, like a certain theme park ride that you wanted to buy is now more expensive on the next round, and there's some cool bonuses for whoever's in the lead in certain areas. And honestly, best components in a game I've ever seen. That's why this game is so expensive. Like, if you look at this game and you're like, man, that's an expensive game. Oh, and don't even mention the Vincent Dutrait artwork. Love it. But I love Vincent Dutrait's artwork, man. It's incredible. And the component quality of this game is ridiculous. You got all these chunky cardboard, like they're cardboard pieces, but I feel like those things are made out of stone. They're so stinking thick. But 10 Penny Parks, amazing game. Everybody should play that game. Next one is a solo-only game that I played live on stream. Check out the card. But it's called Warp's Edge. Warp's Edge is by Scott Alms. This is my favorite solo-only game. I have played Final Girl. I have played what was that other one? Under Falling Skies. This is my favorite out of those three. And I like Final Girl. Falling Skies, I was like in the middle with. It was okay. But Warp's Edge just is so much fun. It's a little bag builder. It reminds me a little bit of like Orleans or Quacks of Quedlinburg. You build up this bag, and then in order to attack, you pull out 5 chips, and then those 5 chips you use to attack ships before you go after the mothership, and you have to beat her little fleet of cards. But the cool part is that as you pull chips out, some chips, when you destroy ships, they'll give you like a bonus where it's like draw 3 chips from your bag, so then you draw 3 more chips, and then you can continue your turn. And so you want to build up these really big fun turns where you're just knocking out ships after ships after ships, and then eventually if you run out of chips and you have no more moves you can do, and you have to refill the row and start over. Once you run out of chips completely, you have to reset the deck of enemies and redo it. So the whole point is to build up this cool little engine of damage and dodging and stuff like that. It's really fun. And that's a cool thing too, is like you don't have to damage enemies, you can just dodge them. Dip, dive, duck, dodge, and dodge. For everybody who's seen Dodgeball. My number 42 is a game I recently played with some friends, and they absolutely loved it, of course, because it's an amazing game. Isle of Cats. If you guys have never played Isle of Cats, amazing polyomino placement. You get your own little ship, and you have to try to rescue as many cats as you can from this island that is going to be destroyed, I guess. And so you rescue as many as you can on your ship by taking these little polyomino cats, not purchasing them, but you have to kind of lure them with baskets. So you have to get enough baskets to get the fish, or to get the cats. And then the currency in the game is fish. You use that to buy baskets and cards. And it's got drafting and polyomino placement. There's so many mechanics in this game, but it is such a fun experience. They have like a family version where you don't use any of the baskets or any of that stuff, but it's still a fun game regardless. But I think the best experience is just playing the regular version. This game is incredible. Highly recommend everybody picking up a copy of that, because I love Isle of Cats. And my number 41 is Caesar's Empire, another game that, I'm going to be honest with you, and I think this is completely fair to say, this game is my number 41. So it's not super highly ranked in my top 100, but it made my top 100, so I should tell you a little bit about the game itself. But I will say this, if I were ranking my games on how much I've played a certain game, this would make my top 10 of games played. And that's because for some reason, man, this game gets to the table so easily and it plays so fast, and you get a full board game experience in a fraction of the time with quick setup, easy to learn. Like, I pull this game out almost every single time we have a game night. For new people who have never played, or for people who haven't, I'm like, bro, you got to play this game. It's really fun. and we play, and people go, "That's a great game. I really enjoyed that." And it's never fallen flat for me ever. People are like, "That was so easy and so simple. Let's run it again." Like, and that's the thing too, is like people always want to play Caesar's Empire, run it back, because it just is so simple. And again, not in my top 10, but if it was games that I play consistently, this would make top 10. But Caesar's Empire is a really cool game. You got a big old map with Rome in the center, and you're building out little roads. The roads are like little people. They're really cool. They looks like it's like a little captain with two soldiers behind him, and it's like a little path almost. Kind of reminds me of like Catan almost. And so what you do is you place a piece to build your road, and then afterwards you count backwards to Rome how many roads. For every one of your pieces that's on that path back to Rome, you get 1 point. But for every one of your opponent's pieces on that road, they get a point as well. So sometimes you're giving your opponents points. And so sometimes you want to build on a road just so like, hey, this guy is building up this road, so I want to make sure I'm getting at least a couple of points off of him. So you're putting roads out there. But you also want to build up your giant road, and people can cut your roads off. They can make little shortcuts to Rome in order to steal your points away. So it's like you built out this big road that's worth 14 points, and the next time you add a piece, it'll be worth 15 points. And then somebody all of a sudden just connects your road to another shorter road, and it's like, now I can't score that road anymore because there's a shorter path. It's so much fun, and then you're just collecting little pieces. I love Caesar's Empire. So if you never played this game, and you can find a cheap copy, grab it. I think the retail copy, or the retail value of the game, is like $50, which is not bad, honestly. I think it matches the experience you get, and also the pieces and things like that. I think it's about $50. But if you can get it for like 40 or under, this is a great investment. Like, if you can get this game on sale anywhere under $50, you did great. But Caesar's Empire, I really love this game. I think everybody should play it. And that is it for this top 100 list. And that was our 50 through 41. Next up is our 40 through 31. And I'm excited for that because, again, we're 3 videos away from our top 100, from the top 10 of our top 100. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Love you guys. Check you guys out later. Catch you on the flippity flip. Y'all already know the dealio. And I'm going to Disney today, or yesterday.